Area code 925. Welcome to Third Phase of Moon. This is Blake Cousins.
Hey, Blake. How you doing?
Hey, doing good. We're starting off right now, the radio show live, taking people's testimony of possible sightings. If they've been abducted, we want to hear their stories. Now's the time. Welcome.
Hey, well, thanks for having me on. I guess I want to speak about the Bay Area, which I live in, and I don't wish to disclose too much, but there's a lot of activity here, and it's been a hotbed for quite some time. And I've seen many different things, and I can get right involved in things I've seen personally, which I have no way of having anyone be able to clarify what it is or identify my experience.
Well, certainly. Let's see. Have you photographed or videotaped any of these unidentified flying objects over San Francisco?
I try,
or the northern area of California?
Every time I do, I get too nervous. It's too much to handle. So one way or another, it just never happens. If I have a camera, it just doesn't seem to work, or always something happens. So it's very difficult to get these things on videotape or on camera.
Well, explain to our viewers and listeners from around the world right now what exactly you're witnessing. Can you describe what the object is? Are they multiple objects? Are they metallic in nature? Are they light? Go ahead and explain some detail and circumstance behind the sighting.
One in particular, when I saw it, I automatically thought it was made. Something that was extremely high-tech. It kind of resembled like a camera. It moved around. It adjusted its shape to kind of focus on certain things. And there was a light that went around the whole craft. And whenever the light was between me and the craft, I could see people inside of it. And to me, they looked human. And so that changed my whole outlook on the whole phenomenon and kind of got me scared, because there's obviously technology out there that people have in their power, but they don't wish to share it. And it's true, very true.
Well, we know for a fact that the military, they have their reasons for keeping their secrets. Obviously, it's a dangerous world out there. And in my opinion, I think, to keep it safe and be ahead of the curve, especially the United States, is, they're probably about 60 years in advance with technology that they're not sharing with us. And eventually it does trickle down, but it does take a long time. And with the more the military might trying to hold on to it, maybe they're going to not share it with us as fast as we would like. That's for sure. Let me ask you a question.
That's why I think it's a very sensitive subject, because I listen to your show a lot, and I hear people kind of stumbling and talking about that kind of technology, and I don't know, I don't know if there's any laws about not talking about it or talking about it, and I've always been curious, but I've also been, raised to learn to kind of keep my head in the right way and not get confused or try to cause trouble. But you guys are doing a great job getting people together. Some people say there's a lot of fake stuff, but honestly, I see a lot of real stuff, because some of the things I've seen, it's identical. And for just a couple of things being fake, it's not a big deal. I understand you guys are trying to get all that information out, and that's the best way to do it. And I give you guys a lot of respect for that.
I appreciate that. With the videos that have been coming into Third Phase, I think we're up to about 770 videos so far. And early on, we've been up for 4 or 5 years on YouTube, and some have slipped through some really controversial videos and sensationalist videos that, I would say that they're probably fake. Some videos we have on Third Phase Moon that have been posted in the past few years, some did slip through. We're trying to weed those out. We're looking at these videos a lot closer. We respect the community out there. We want to get the real stuff on Third Phase Moon. And with 100,000 subscribers following us, we take it take it very sincere, and we appreciate the words. Hey, I want you to stick around because I got some more questions for you, but we're going to be taking calls right now. And if anybody has a question for Phase of Moon or want to report a sighting or video that they've captured of a UFO, you could call into 347-934-0378. We're live right now. Now we're going to go to our next caller, area code 706. Welcome to Third Phase.
Hey.
Hey, how's it going?
You there?
Yep, we're here.
Good.
We're live on air, Third Phase. The world's listening right now. Welcome.
Hey, I've been trying to get through for a while, and I finally got through. I had Facebooked you a few times, if you recall.
Yes, Nikki, we spoke a little bit earlier before we went live, and there was some email correspondence that you shared with us, and we asked you to come on, and, I think you've missed a couple shows, but we're live right now. Could you refresh our memory and tell the Third Phase of viewers of why you contacted Third Phase of Moon?
Well, I contacted you because I feel like you're the best out there. I live in a small town in North Georgia, LJ, Georgia. My name's Nikki, and I'm a mother of a 16-year-old son, and ever since I was like 8 years old, this has been happening to me on and off. And here recently, in the past 3 to 4 months, it's just hit heavy again. And it's like, I don't know if I'm being abducted again or I'm having nightmares or whatever. And a little while ago, a few weeks back, my son actually came into my room. And he's a big boy. He's a football player. He's 6'4". He believes, he's manly with a beard. He don't believe in nothing. And when I tell him about all my experiences, he laughs. And he actually said, Mom, he said, because I told him about the grays and stuff, he goes, there was a tall gray. And I was like, what do you mean? And he said there was a tall gray that looked like he had an injury to his face, like he had been burnt or something on one side of his face, and he was over me. And I don't know if he got abducted that night or what, but he was so scared he wanted to sleep in my room. And this was a big boy, not scared of nothing. And that's when it really got me worried because I had been having things where I would be laying here watching TV and then wake up and 2 or 3 hours later be on top of my covers and lost of time and not knowing what happened or anything. Like, it's been happening so strong here lately that it's literally scaring the crap out of me. And, I mean, I'm no joke. My stepdad's lieutenant deputy. I used to be a firefighter. Like, I'm not making none of this up. And my son's really getting, kind of scared. And that's what's really bothering me now is because it's happening to my son. And he made a good point. He made a point that you cannot dream something that you've never seen. And he came in that morning and told me that, and that really disturbed me. So I don't understand why this is happening again.
Well, Nikki, let me explain a couple things. First of all, we just put up a video on Third Phase of Moon yesterday in regards to a UFO sighting out of Oregon. And there was an interview that a correspondent did for us. Well, it was actually the uncle of a little boy named, not recalling his name right now, but he was 8 years old.
Yeah, I've seen that video.
Pardon?
I've seen the video.
Yeah, so basically this kid draws an outline and for a diagram of what he believes the UFO looked like over the Oregon skies. There was a video the same day shot in night vision, the same night shot in night vision of a similar aircraft that he described in the same location. And then we did there was a computer CGI rendition that we did from the kid's testimony. And it's interesting, like you just said, you can't describe things or dream things that you've never seen before. It's kind of got to be in that locked into the brain and have that way of thought. Let me ask you, have you ever I remember you sent us some pictures of possible entries or, there was some irritations. Do you believe that you may have an alien implant in your body?
Now, when I was younger, I absolutely do. Looking back now as an adult, I absolutely do. I actually went to the doctor, and I was like, telling my mom, what is this? You know, it was like in my rib cage. I was like, what is this? And it looked kind of purplish. The doctors couldn't explain it or nothing. It was like smaller than a pea size. And it stayed there for years. It went away. They had no explanation for it. They just said, oh, it's just, we don't know. They just said, we don't know. And
where was the implant located again?
It
or
was
the anomaly in the body?
Yes, on my rib cage. On the right side of my rib cage.
And is it still there? We have access to doctors that would, remove these objects. You know, if you have solid evidence of X-rays, we at Third Phase Moon have contacts with doctors and surgeons and material scientists that will actually remove these things. And the charge, there will be no charge, but we just need the evidence first. We need a solid X-ray, and we need a consistent story. And if you got that, we would provide the removal and the testing of
what I was getting to. It's like it's gone. It's like they removed it. But I remember for years it was there, and I complained to my mom forever and ever and ever. And I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. A lot of weird stuff happened to me. I mean, I can go into it with you in detail a lot more. I have a lot to tell you from my first sighting when I was a little girl. Of sitting outside and seeing my first UFO, and always being scared of the dark and never staying out at night. But it's like it called me to it, and this went on for days on end. It would be outside, and then finally I went in and told my grandmother, and she told me to call 911. She got so scared. This was when I was between 8 and 10 years old. Is when all this first started, and it's a long story of my life that I'd like to discuss with you, and now it seems like it's just happening again. And 3 nights ago, I woke up. I had knee surgery, so I'm not out running around or hiking or wakeboarding like I used to. And I had bruises covering all around the top of both of my legs, and I had scratch marks and extensions on my hips. And I took pictures of those.
Interesting.
So I don't
know. It's a sensitive matter when, especially, it's happening to you, but now all of a sudden they're dealing with your son now. The aliens or whatever's going on now. Your son's involved, and now that I'm sure strikes a nerve, right?
Oh yeah, especially whenever the marks around his ankle and behind his ear. Like I was just like, what is that? Like it's still there.
Well, I think right away what you need to do is get an X-ray of the ankle. You know, that's the cost on that's quite. That's a small cost, but if there's, like I said, if there's some proof there, and there's experts that we could deal with, and with abductions, and there's consultants that have been down this road that could help in what's going on with you and your family in your area. And we sure would like to follow up. And like I said, if you could get some serious proof.
I can take him to the doctor. And also, I have seen unidentified flying objects out. I live up on the golf course, so I have a good range of view up here in the mountains, and I've seen some. My son and I both went out and laid up on the golf course and watched them, and it's scary. And but I want to ask you a question: is it true if I bought a black light and held it up to these areas, would it shine a different color? I've seen that on some videos.
Well, I know we've went on a UFO hunt, 2010, December 30th, and we were invited to show up because this family or a couple were having UFO experiences over their house 3 nights in a row, and they said, you got to bring your cameras down here because, shit's hitting the fan, basically.
Yeah.
And so we brought the cameras down. It was on our island right here in the big island of Hawaii, and that's how they were bringing them down. He said that when he shined a light up in the sky, he saw something, he'd kind of get their attention, we're actually speaking with somebody that made contact with us right here at Third Phase of the Moon from, I think, Arizona, a person by the name of Christopher, if I'm not mistaken. And he built this amazing LED light that has maybe 1 million or 6 million lumens that basically you could shoot this thing and it'll be seen from outer space. And he's going to attempt to try and contact ET this way. I don't know if it's the best or the most, if it's wise to do this. I'm not sure. I wouldn't. I would suggest doing it. Hey, seeing UFOs, communicating with them, that's not the worst thing in the world. That's what we went out there to do when that night, December 30th, 2012, at around 10 p.m. It really did happen, and it was an amazing experience for my brother and I. And we captured it on tape, and it was an amazing triangle formation. So you might want to consider that.
Well, I was speaking of the black light on the skin. I mean, I know what you're talking about, with the lights. I understand that, what you were just saying, but I was talking about, I've seen that doctor run over and light the skin with a black light, and it would glow if there's a possible they have implanted you. You know what I'm talking about?
It's a possibility. There's no guarantees with communication that we know, but sounds like an interesting experiment. We got a caller coming in from area code 818. Welcome to Third Phase of Moon.
Hello?
Hello, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're on air live on Third Phase. Do you have a UFO sighting, a report? Have you captured a UFO on video?
Yeah, I actually did. I have a video of it on YouTube, but I captured these things going faster than what the human eye can see. And they're like black spheres going through the sky.
So you're saying you're really not seeing the UFOs with your own eyes, but you're pointing the camera up and UFOs are appearing in the video?
Yeah, you can, they only last for one frame. And you have to slow them down.
The frame-by videos, yeah, we do receive a lot of videos right here at Third Phase of UFOs that only last for a split second, and you have to get it frame by frame to capture these things, and they are quite amazing, but they're hard to show on YouTube saying this is a UFO, because most people dismiss it as some kind of bug or a lens or whatever, and we're looking for really good videos to put out there. I'm not saying it isn't a UFO. I'm thinking more that it could be an interdimensional being or some kind of energy being that travels so fast that it only exists in our realm and time for a split second. What do you think?
I'm not. They might be somewhere similar to a thing called rods, which are maybe another species of it or something like that, because they capture different types of looking rods on camera, such as 4 wings, 6 wings, even just 2 wings. And yeah.
Well, yeah, it's interesting because some of these rods, the wings seem like they're fixed in, and they're not changing in formation, so it seems that it isn't some kind of camera trick. You want to shout out your YouTube channel so our viewers and listeners could go take a look at your channel?
Sure. It is Cheat Mongol, CheatMongul.
All right, everybody, want to check out some of these interdimensional beings caught on camera? We don't know what they are, but you might want to check out that channel and see what's going on. Where were these images, videos captured from?
I captured them from my tablet, and also I actually got another video out just I think yesterday. It talks about animals on Mars. I captured and I found a lizard on Mars, from the new picture that Curiosity captured, and it's on NASA's site. And I pointed out and showed the head, legs, tail, and the whole body of it, and it shows other animals and skulls.
Yeah, the famous lizard on Mars photograph has been making the rounds on the internet and everywhere else, and it is an unusual formation that Curiosity captured. It's hard telling what it is, and we're not saying one way or the other, but definitely what's going on Mars is probably not exactly what they're telling the people, and we wanted to get more back on that. We have an opinion about what the government's telling us. We don't exactly know, but from what we do know for a fact, that there are certain times that they're not telling us exactly what's going on, and they do things that, there's a lot of spying going on the people, this NSA stuff. Why are they doing this? Who voted for this? We didn't as a people. They're just kind of making up their own rules and saying, we got to spy on everybody. For what reason? I don't know. They say they're going after the bad guys, and that's a good thing. Go after the bad guys. But it seems like it's getting a little amazing out there. Area code 925, what do you think?
I think you're right. I think there's a lot of technology out there, and they're using it definitely for their own purposes. But that's a good thing. I support that. I mean, if they're catching the bad guys, like you said, that's a good thing. But I always remember that if you want to get the best technology, I mean, it's better to reverse engineer that. So it's just logical that they would shoot down a UFO in the history of UFOs and take that technology and reverse engineer it and get all the questions that we have answered and elevate our knowledge to the next level. And I mean, I believe all humans are capable of amazing things. I mean, we're subject to so much technology and so much advancement that I think everyone is smart enough to be able to do that, to be able to make anti-gravity technology. And the government beat us to it. And they used all our money, and they used all the taxpayers' money. Everyone's involved, and we have a little piece of that technology. What we think and we can believe in, that it's already been created. It's already out there. It's advanced. And, I mean, I just hope that, one day I can see that, we can at least share that technology so we can all grow and then advance technology even beyond that. Like touch display countertops and having our information being able to be transferred automatically, with a swipe or even a gesture. And I think the evolution of augmented reality, AR and VR, all these things are coming to this point, and it's just going to get better. And I think it's important we all have that technology so our kids can have that base to grow upon.
The technology continuously advances 1,000 times every year. Things are getting smaller. The prices are coming down. There are major corporations out there that are good ones at points. Google is one of the good ones. They're helping out. They're giving all these tools out. YouTube's out. You get to share on there and share these videos. So there's some of these corporations are like in this free information, getting it out there. But now some of these corporations are having being cracked down a little bit from the outside on some of this free speech on YouTube, and it's kind of unfortunate. In my opinion, I think everything should be put out, and everybody have the power. But in the case, that's not what they want. They kind of want to hold their own power.
Exactly.
It's not really fun when everybody's as smart as everybody else. When everybody has the opportunity to have, let's say, Google put into your frontal lobe of your brain, and then you really don't have to have a computer. It's basically in your brain. These days will come down the road where things will be thinking a million times faster than our own human brains can possibly do. And they're going to be coming up with good ideas, but then, unfortunately, the bad ideas come with that at the same time.
Yeah, I think we shouldn't have the fear of creating technology that is advanced and making patents. I think there's that fear that we make something and we're off of oil or off of gas, and we have that fear that we're going to get someone after us or there's a mafia. And I think if everyone can have the consensus that we can do it and that we should do it and we can publicly do it. I know you guys are in contact with a organization that is doing that. You guys are I don't have the name on the top of my head, but you guys are doing it. You guys are creating your own anti-gravity machine and making it public and having it come out. And I want to see what happens with that. That's some good stuff.
Well, we think right here at Third Phase Moon, we will break the smoking gun evidence that we're not alone one of these days. We're going to show you a flying saucer up close, inside. Maybe we'll even fly one. That's, I think that's going to happen. And that's not too out of the box about thinking that.
No.
With the world
Blake,
watching.
Blake, I wanted to mention one thing. I've always wanted to ask you, because no one ever really touches on this, but the evolution of the UFO phenomenon from the beginning to now, from what we know from photos and videos, I've always noticed that there's a trend in it kind of looking better. The UFOs look better, and it's kind of hard for me to think that aliens would create like a new Bentley or a new UFO, every couple years, like we do. We come out with a new car every year, and it just kind of strikes me odd that they would do that. So I kind of got curious about the whole subject of either if it's alien or out of world, or if it's homegrown in the good old Earth. And I'm kind of leaning more on the made here, because these things are just getting better and they're looking more conventional. I know there's a whole wave of people that have I guess they're looking at planes and they're believing that they're fake. I know you come through this probably daily, the fake plane phenomenon. And I mean, I've seen these. They're silent. They look like a plane, or they turn from a orange orb to a plane. And you can see it. You watch the orb for like half an hour. It's just sitting there, and then all of a sudden you move and it turns into a plane, and then it comes over you and it's quiet. Right? And I've had one witness that I was with when I was driving once that swore that they saw a triangle, a small triangle, not your typical big triangle, but a small one. So it's only, I'm putting all the pieces together, and it seems like they have smaller UFOs that are meant for surveillance or reconnaissance missions, whatever. And they kind of have this look that they're a plane, or people don't really notice that it's going on. And then there's the whole other side of it actually being planes. So you kind of bring everything together and be smart, and the final decision on what it is. And I know no one has really cracked this subject, besides people saying that they're night stalkers and government owned and all that.
I'd have to agree with you on, these drones and these planes simulating that they're airplanes. In actuality, they're hiding in plain sight, but they're kind of, in these videos, they seem like they're blowing it. Their blinkers aren't going away according to FAA rules, and they're just not 100% together as a plane. There are interesting videos out there. Some of my theories is that when you say they're ours and they're man-made, maybe they possibly are, but future time travelers from the distant future coming back in time to visit. And as well as when you're speaking about photographs and videos, there's actually biblical artist renditions of these aircraft that are in full detail, and they're absolutely quite amazing. We're going to be taking more calls right. Nikki.
Oh, you can hear me.
You're on Third Phase. Let's go to some of the details about, what happened 3 days ago. There was something that happened right to you, and was it your son?
No, this was actually to me. I woke up with just bruises all around me, all around the upper part of my legs, and like I said, like scratch marks and indentions of some sort of, I don't know, like indentions, like claw marks. And nothing happened to me. I was in my room because I'm recovering, like I said, from my knee surgery, so that was really odd to me. And I woke up, and the next day I just felt ill and sick all day, and that's not like me. And it just weirded me out. And I've had a lot, like I said, you and I could sit down and talk for an hour or two or three, and I could just tell you my whole story of everything that's happened to me. But I wanted to kind of touch on to what you guys were talking about of the UFOs and everything, has anybody heard the Bob Lazar? Has anybody listened to his story?
Definitely.
About reverse technology and all that of UFOs and how we actually do fly UFOs that we have taken down? Have anybody familiar with Bob Lazar's case?
Yes. World famous.
Go ahead, and we're pretty familiar with Mr. Bob Lazar. He made a groundbreaking assumption that, and it said that he claimed that he worked at Area 51. Mm-hmm. He was brought to see the UFOs. He witnessed the UFOs in operation, and we've go ahead, Brent. My brother here, Brent Cousins, wants to chime in from Third Phase.
Yeah, he was leading the reverse engineering of UFOs, which was incredible in itself. We are trying to get an interview with Bob Lazar. That's kind of in the works, and we're looking forward to picking his brain on what he saw.
Wow, that would be great.
Mr. Dan Birch, and we've done some specials on Third Phase in regards to the Area 51, being inside Area 51, and they called him J-Rod, the Area 51 alien. And are you familiar with J-Rod?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And he basically, Mr. Dan Birch, helped him to go back home through some kind of Stargate system that they're working on. And now he's not here anymore. The person, or the Roswell crash in 1947, and the recovered live bodies were set back, and Mr. J-Rod made it back. But back to some of the other things about, these crashes. You were saying that some of these UFOs may have been shot down, and more likely than not, if these aliens are coming to Earth from another universe, they're just not going to come to our Earth and just crash all of a sudden. I don't think that's their plan. Most likely they're shot down. What do you think? Yep, 925?
Yeah, on the topic of Bob Lazar?
Yes,
yep.
Oh, yeah, I mean, a lot of people say that, he shouldn't have said that, he shouldn't have leaked that information. And, obviously he hit his face from that. But I'm sure, we've taken that technology to another level. It's already done. It's processed. It's not a theory anymore. And that's the truth. We're not really, I don't think we're supposed to really talk about it in too much detail. And we can only I have a question for the other caller. With your UFO encounter, can you describe the crafts that you said you saw over the golf course in a little bit more detail?
Okay, the first one I see when I was little, when it all started, it was a round craft, and it had lights all around it. And I lived literally by an airport at that time, and for some reason, I felt safe. It was like, I don't know, this weird feeling of saying you're safe, and I just sat out in the middle of my driveway and just stared at this thing, and it would just sit there for like ever, and then shoot across the sky and sit there and shoot across the sky, and this went on and on. Finally, I went in and told my grandma. And then whenever, up here at the golf course here recently, in my later years, I'm 34 now, we see stuff like orange lights that will stay stationary and then kind of move about, and then there will be other, kind of off in the distance, things flying around it, which are not planes, because you can see the planes flying, I guess, from Atlanta and stuff.
Are
and
they
my
blinking? The ones that
no, the other ones are not blinking, but the planes are blinking. Like, you can see the difference from the plane pattern. And it's just weird. And this orange light will get brighter, and then there's these, white orbs, because they're kind of far off, so you can see will come in and out and to and from this thing. And my son's friend one night didn't believe us, and he went on the golf course and sat with us, and it freaked that kid out so bad he's not been back since.
From the UFO encounters you had when you were younger to the ones that you're having now, was there any difference in terms of telepathic maybe your first experience, you had a more telepathic communication with this craft rather than the one that you're seeing now.
Because when I was a kid, I was scared to be outside by myself, especially at night. And it was just like I was at ease. It was like they just kept saying, I don't know, something just kept saying, you're okay, you're going to be safe, don't be scared. And it was totally dark out.
That's what I noticed is it seems like all the older cases, there have been more telepathic communications. Now it seems like there's less, and people are experiencing more of a neutral feeling for unidentified flying objects, which leads,
I see them, but what's been happening to me recently, like I really feel like I almost feel like I'm getting abducted. I don't know if I'm dreaming it. I might need to go into some kind of hallucination or whatever, but I wake up almost every night around 3:33, sit up straight in my bed, and it just scares me. And I have like 2 accounts in the last 3 months of loss of like 2 or 3 hours where I'll be sitting there watching TV, and the next thing I know, I'm on top of my covers and the TV's still on. And I never just fall asleep like that.
Wow,
do you have any recollection of ever being visited by aliens, or you're just missing time and you're having these strange, these bruises all over your body? It sounds, that's pretty traumatic.
When I was younger, it was similar, kind of like that, but I didn't know really what was going on. Just thought bad dreams or or whatever, but I always had this assumption everything's going to be okay. And this time, I'm scared. It's scaring me this time. It's not like it kind of is like an okay feeling, but not. And I guess it's because my son's involved now, and that as a mom, I'm pretty keyed off. Like, I don't want them, messing with him at all.
Not to throw religion involved, but have you tried to perhaps seek maybe like a cleansing or see if it's perhaps demonic? Not that all these are demonic, and not to belittle your case in any means, that it's not real, but have you ventured into that venue kind of to get help in terms of possible demonic activity?
Like have like a lady come cleanse your house and do all that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, some of them.
Yes, I have.
It's very hard.
I actually have. I swear to you, I have. And thinking there was, like ghosts or whatever, or am I just having bad nightmares? I've even talked to my doctor about nightmares or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, you'll be fine," because I have a Cuban doctor. So.
Third Phase of Moon have put out documentaries in regards to the alien phenomenon, alien implants. You could check it out on Third Phase of Moon. The Alien Human Project dealt with Dr. Roger Lear removing alien implants over his years, as well as the Alien Abduction Diaries. Lots of amazing testimony in regards to the alien abduction phenomenon. We're taking calls from around the world, and we're taking one caller calling in from area code 212. Welcome to Third Phase of Moon.
Hey, Third Phase of Moon, I just wanted to let you know that woman's story is not new. We've heard this story. There's been multiple sightings over rural areas, over golf courses, with repeated sightings by numerous people, and a common thread amongst them is not religion. It's not that they need to go and get religion. This is something that's common, and the easy segue into, have you had your house cleansed, or is this for religious reasons? That's not universal.
No,
that's not every one of these cases.
I was being careful when I said that.
These cases don't have that trait at all, and that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, I respect that. That's a good point. And that's why I had to clarify that it could be a possibility, but not a for sure, because we don't know, and I'm interested in that caller. That's very good that you pointed that out. That we're straight, that it's not demonic or religious, but to look at all these aspects and to figure it out, detailed what these events are occurring.
That's what I think Third Phase of Moon's all about, getting the opinions out, having people share their stories, because if it wasn't, I think, for Third Phase of Moon right now, there's really not a place to have a support system or even share what's going on in their lives in a forum quite like this. And we appreciate that one caller and sharing in their opinion.
Yes, that is so true.
Now, let's see. Some of the calls we do get in on Third Phase of the Moon can get wild at times where it's the dashboard is filling up. We want to take people's testimony, but we want to keep it real and not get wild on the wild side. And sometimes Third Phase of the Moon is, kind of subject to this because of the subject matter that we're dealing with. And people talking about aliens and alien abductions and UFOs. Hey, people can talk about religion all day long, and there's no ridicule there. But once you say you've seen a UFO, then all of a sudden, boom, you're a wacko and you're crazy, which is totally unfair. 4 million people claim they've been abducted in the United States every year. So people aren't alone dealing with this. On to our next caller into Third Phase of the Moon. Area code 585. Welcome to Third Phase of the Moon. This is Blake Cousins.
Hey guys, Chad out of Rochester, New York. How you doing?
Hey Chad, doing good.
I was just wondering if anybody reported any more orange globes. We just saw one about an hour and a half ago, coming from southbound heading north. It looks like it's going right towards Lake Ontario, and we got a quick glimpse at it, but it's the same pulsing orange globe that people have been reporting all over the country with.
Wow, so you just saw a UFO within the hour. We're live on the show right now. You want to make a report that maybe somebody, if their cameras are ready in your world, if they could start videotaping it right now. Can you give the coordinates again and what direction is going in?
Yeah, we're, Rochester, New York is about western New York. It sandwiches Syracuse and Buffalo, but this thing looked like it was going from where we were just south of the Lake Ontario. So if it's going to go anywhere and it hasn't disappeared, it's well into Canada at this point.
Can you explain to our viewers what made you look up at the sky at that moment to notice the unidentified flying object?
What it looked like?
Can you explain what compelled you to look in the sky and see this object this unidentified object tonight?
Yeah, I'm not that kind of guy that gets obsessed with UFOs. In fact, I believe they're more demons than anything. But we were just talking, as a matter of fact, about end time. We work together, and this is quite bizarre. But we were talking. I'm doing a talk on biblical eschatology, which is the study of the end times. And as we were talking about the end times, we look up just to our left. We're heading south on 590, and we looked up, and I noticed there was this bright orange globe, and it was pulsating. It was like literally, I couldn't explain it. It looked like it had a darker outer ring with a brighter inner, and I was passing it, so I didn't get a really good glimpse of it, but my friend in the car next to me got a better glimpse of it. It was very controlled, and it seemed to just travel at a pretty good rate. You thought maybe it could be a plane on fire, but I don't think so.
How fast do you think it was going?
It's hard to tell, but it looked like it was just a steady course. Who knows how fast? My thought maybe it was a cooled-off meteor. That's kind of the pulsating, almost like the thing with a fireball, but it was bright and it was pulsating. It wasn't a plane, all right? Didn't see any bright blinking lights. We get a lot of planes around here. We're a fairly good-sized city. So that was my initial reaction. It was either a plane on fire or it was a meteor. You've heard the reports of the fireballs in the skies. Well, I thought maybe that's what we were looking at. But as we looked closer, the more we looked at it, the more we saw it was very controlled. It was not a meteor, and it was traveling at a very, very slow rate. How slow, I don't know. Who knows how slow or fast that really is? But we went online. What we found interesting. As soon as we got to our destination, we got out the iPad. We started looking up reports in western New York of any orange globes, which just so happens in September and some other month last year, 2012, there was a report of the same pulsating orange globe. And you guys can check it out on YouTube, Western New York globe, and it's exactly the thing that we saw. What's fascinating is we saw it around 11:30. That's exactly the time that they saw it going from south to north. So I thought that was fascinating that the same strange orange globe that we saw at a totally different time of year was going from south to north at a slow rate, pulsating, and it was around 11:30. That, to me, blew me away right there. I was like, you know what? I think we saw a UFO. Don't know ultimately what it is, but I could tell you it wasn't a meteor and it wasn't a plane.
Absolutely incredible. We want to sharing your.
That reminds me of.
If anybody is in New York, Rochester, and had their cameras ready or captured this phenomenon over the skies, send it into Third Phase of Moon via Skype or Facebook. I want to thank everybody for joining us right here at Third Phase. Nikki, keep in touch. Get your son X-rayed and then send us those images, and we'll take a look at those, and hopefully we can help you out, Nikki.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And area code 925, thanks for calling in, sharing your stories.
No problem, Blake. Thanks for your time.
The show's done, but we really appreciate it.
And thanks for the other callers, too. Have a good night, guys.
All right.
Everybody that participated in the show, thank you very much. The 100,000 subscribers that are subscribed to Third Phase of Moon, we appreciate you. Keep the videos coming in. We'll share it to the world. If you've captured anything amazing, again, send it to Third Phase of Moon via Skype or Facebook. My name's Blake Cousins, and we'll see everybody again next time.